What's up, everybody? Welcome to the post-game show. Man, big dub, blowout win, dominant game from start to finish, 37 to 10, BTA. That's really all I can say. BTA. Um, I'm just gonna throw it right over to you, man. We got a lot to talk about. What's your thoughts, reactions of the game? What were some of the highlights? Just give me what you got. It was a great game, and it was just exciting to see us play that kind of football from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely exciting to see that happen and come out and dominate a team like that. Because Minnesota needed that win just as much as we did. Because their season was on the point. Like if they get a win, they could springboard and stay in their division. So that was a big like week 8 game for both teams involved. I was happy that we're the team that got it done because 5-3 looks a lot better than 4-3 or 4-4. So
Hmm.
super excited about that. Really the big thing for me that stood out right away was exactly what I asked for from that defense. You know, we have been struggling coming into that game the last 4 games. I mentioned that on the preview. And right away, you can just feel the energy was different. The line was getting after people. Um, Perriman was flying around, stopping the run. People were flying, filling gaps. It seemed like we just knew that this was a huge game. We weren't going to let people run all over us, especially after the way the Colts did us last week. So I think they took that personally. I mentioned what Max said as well, and I feel like that was exactly the vibe I got from the team. His feelings, his leadership really carried weight this week. And I think they took a lot of the talk personally this week about how great the Colts were and how bad we looked on defense last week. And to see them step up and have that type of performance was huge. You look at the numbers, 164 total yards for the Minnesota Vikings. Don't care who it is at quarterback. That's a crazy efficient game as a defense to not allow 200 yards total. And we controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides. Giving love to the offense too. Alt back was a huge deal. And
Huge.
really, Alt was the only one that was back because Mekhi Becton went out in like the first or second quarter. He was done early. So Foster Sorrell had a really good game at right guard. Bobby Hart, great game at right tackle for his standards. Great game. I mean, almost for anybody's because there was zero pressures allowed in 34 pass blocking attempts. So you can't ask for anything more from
Yeah.
those guys. Um, you know, I'll throw it back to you before I get back to some other points. But I just wanted to highlight that defense and exactly what I was wanting to see from them, and the guys be guys and make plays and just control and come out and show that energy and effort that's necessary to wear the supercharger uniforms. I think they did that. So, how about yourself? What was your biggest takeaway from what you saw last night?
No, man. I'm right there with you on the defense. Love seeing them just firing off snaps. I feel like it's like every game Tierra Tart has at least like one to two like defensive snaps where I'm just like, this guy's elite. Like
Hmm.
he had that one it was a run play. And I mean, it almost looked like he was like offsides, like he jumped
Yeah.
early. Like how fast he got off the ball, blew up the play, was in the backfield. Like Tierra Tart is he's playing tremendous. And he played really well last year too, but he was more of a rotational player. He wasn't really that guy. This year he's that guy. He's
Yeah.
playing a lot more. So love seeing that. But just pivoting going over to the offensive side, just like we talked about on defense, we needed to come out strong. We needed to come out and stop the run game. Make sure that isn't something that just keeps killing us week to week. And I feel like we did that on defense. On offense, we needed more consistency. We needed, like you said, getting Joe Walt back was huge, huge for everything offensively, whether it was pass blocking, whether it was run blocking, and just the
Yep.
consistency of the O line and knowing that, okay, a center doesn't need to worry about, okay, I got these two tackles in the game who really haven't been playing a lot of football. I mean, the center himself is pretty bad. So it's like, okay, when you're bad and you got to worry about people that are bad around you, you're trying to make protection calls, you're working with Herbert on those. Like, it's not easy to do that. So I know it made Bozeman's life a lot easier, and I'm sure it made the rest of the line's life a lot easier too. Because now you can actually slide protections to the other side, and you can have
Yep.
those tight ends and fullbacks or whoever's in. Okay, we're gonna give more assistance to that other side because we got Stonewall Alt over here. I don't gotta worry
Yeah.
about that side. Like, even if he's slightly hobbled. So um love getting Alt back. And yeah, our offense just looked super good. I mean, 207 rushing yards. Obviously, Kamani Vidal had 117 of those. He averaged 5.1 yards a carry. So he looked really good against that defensive line that I think that's a pretty good defensive line over there.
Yeah.
And we saw it last week. I mean, they held Barkley to under 50 yards rushing, but Where they get killed in the air, but we also killed them through the air. Look at what Herbert did. 18 to
Hmm.
25, 227 yards passing, three touchdowns. He did have that one interception. And
Yeah.
how did it happen? Batted pass. Oh my goodness.
We had the worst luck with that.
Dude, four batted passes this year, all interceptions. I don't get it. I do
Yeah.
not get it. But outside of that, Herbert looked great. His weapons, we always talk about the weapons. His weapons looked
Weapons.
amazing. Ladd was out there leading the charge again. He had 10 targets, six catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. And then you had OG out there, played really well again. Five catches on five targets, 77 yards and a touchdown. And then you had a couple other guys. Keenan had four catches on five targets of 44 yards. And Trey Harris got his first touchdown,
Trey
this
Harris,
week.
shout out to Trey, man. Does
Shout out
a
to
great
Trey,
job
man, for
blocking. He
sure.
earned that touchdown.
Absolutely. So a lot of good things on offense, man. Just love seeing the continuity, seeing the guys getting involved, and just Herbert just being Herbert. I mean, using his legs too. I mean, he would have had seven carries for 62 yards as well. When he's using his legs, we are literally at our best. It is so hard to defend us. When you have a quarterback that could fit any kind of tight window throw, lob throw, put it in the bucket, whatever kind of throw, but then you also know, hey, once those receivers are bottled up, this
Yeah.
guy can get out the pocket and go scramble for a first down. Dude, that is so hard. That is so hard to defend against. And I don't, I, I'm sure game plans are going to start shifting a little bit. They're probably going to start spying him a little bit more because you see it. He has a lot of free runs where it's like, okay, pocket breaks down, there's a lane, he takes it, and there's no one to account for him. That's probably going to change a little bit, but you know what that does? That slows down pass rush. That slows down, or it doesn't allow you to have, double teaming people on the outside. So Herbert is so good mentally that he sees a spy, he's gonna know, okay, I got one-on-one coverage wherever I'm looking most likely. I know the pass rush probably isn't as strong because they're not blitzing because they got a spy. So
Yep.
I'm interested to see teams do it because I think Herbert will diagnose it and pick it apart. But yeah, no, like I said, I was just super excited just to see our offense just play the way they did. I mean, it was from
Yeah.
start to finish. Like you said, had that batted pass for an interception, but other than that, a tremendous game by the offense.
Yeah. What a turnaround from what seemed like a pick six, the second play of the game for us, and then to go
Goodness.
down and drive a 14 play drive for a touchdown that finished with OG having a touchdown catch. It could have been a whole different game if that pick six stands. Thankfully,
Yeah.
but he didn't hold on to it. So I was really excited to see the bounce back from that. Honestly, though, what I took away from this game, as well as that defensive effort too, this fit like a typical if I think felt like if Harbaugh had to drop a game that he wants his team to play, it would look like this every time.
Yep.
You're physical, you're dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides, and then you're not leaving Herbert out to dry to throw 40 pass attempts.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, over 200 yards on the ground. Everybody contributed on the ground. Even Jarrett Patterson ran well, and this is the
Yep.
first time he's played in a couple years. So
Mhm.
I think game script wise and just a performance that he wants to see from his team, I think Harbaugh would want to see this type of performance from a team any day. And I don't just mean the final score, because obviously every coach wants to win 37-10 or like blow a team out. But like the
Absolutely.
way it happened, the progressively just took him down slowly and surely. And then in the first half, Herbert controlled the game, did his thing. In the second half, he really barely threw, and we just ran it down their throats and was able to get first downs and touchdowns just strictly off the run game.
Yeah.
And then the defense continued to hold their end of the deal up and keep those guys out of the end zone. Really could have been 37-3 or six if it had been for that 12 men on the field on the field goal. And then we
Yeah.
got the stop on fourth down, and they called a
Hmm.
iffy illegal contact call there, but can't
Yeah.
complain when you win 37-10. So
No.
just super happy with what I saw last night, and I might have to petition for those superchargers to be out there a couple more times a year if we're gonna play like that wearing those.
Seriously, yeah. One time, like, come on, man. We need more than that.
Oh, we got one more.
Oh, it is? Why the
Yeah, we got one more against Oakland in week, what is
we
that,
is
11 or
that
12?
13? Yeah, I think it's 13. I think it's
Let
13
me
because our
look right
bye is
here.
12.
Yeah.
That I think because we played them right out the bye. So I think it's week 13 we played them.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize that. I don't know why I thought it was one in the Charger Power and one in the Supercharger. So no, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Excited about that. But no, I mean, I think, like I said, offensively, defensively, we were kind of firing on all cylinders. Mentor had great. I mean, and we said it before. I mean, Mentor against quarterbacks that just like they show that they're not good. They make timely mistakes all the time. Mentor just has a day with those kind of quarterbacks. And he did against Wentz. I mean, Wentz looked like he was. I mean, he visibly looked like he was shaken up and hurt pretty much all game long. I mean, they had that big brace on his arm. Every time he took a sack or a hit, he's wincing and in visible pain. So, I mean,
Yeah, he was
regardless, I
hurting
mean,
out there.
if he's out there, he's out there. So, I mean, you're playing, you're playing. I mean, I can't. It's not. Oh, but he was hurt. Well, if he's hurt, get him out the game then. So
Yeah,
those kind of excuses I don't want to hear because we've been playing with yeah. So the number of injuries and not just like, oh, tic tac this. No, it's like missing big key guys every single game. Loved having Mac back almost pretty much full time. You saw
yeah,
his impact right away. So I love seeing that we're getting healthy. Because it just goes to show that, I mean, you saw what Vidal was able to do behind the line. They played really well when Alt was back. Who knows, if Pipkin's going to go back to the starting lineup or if it's going to be Bobby Hart. Bobby Hart looked pretty good, so I don't care who's out there. Honestly, I'm just glad that Joe Walt's back. But to
yeah,
have that consistency and that I guess what can I say? I'm sure it's a sigh of relief for Herbert out there knowing, okay, blindside is good. And I'm sure that allows him to really be like, you know what? Now I can do what I really want to do. And if someone, I mean, Herbert, I mean, you've seen it all year. He's really good at sensing pressure. And he's been pretty like, I don't want to call him a magician, but like he's been really good with escaping pressure and
yeah,
getting out of sacks and stiff arming guys coming at him. Like he's been really good. So like I said, getting healthier as the weeks go on, and we got kind of like a mini bye this week because we played on Thursday, so we don't play till next Sunday.
yeah.
So I think we walked out with a couple little minor injuries. Tarheeb got banged up, Tony Jefferson got banged up, Derwin got banged up, but it
Unc
looked to
had
me
an
to be
Unc
minor.
injury
So
with the hammy, the devil
yeah, I
Unc
know, right?
injury.
Yeah, I mean
But
that might keep Unk out because Unk. I mean he Unk, and you know how them soft tissue injuries do.
for
Um,
sure,
but Derwin, Tarheeb, they should be back. So we'll see.
yeah. I was going to mention the same thing, since you were touching on the injuries that, we overcome and have been fighting through, to lose the guys that we lost. And, credit to the defense. RJ Mickens gets an interception last night after being thrust into like an every down role, going
Yeah,
down, no Derwin and no Tony Jefferson. Um, that can affect a lot of teams, and especially the way we play, because Derwin's all over the place. So we had to fall back into a more traditional look with like two
yep,
high
too
safeties
high.
and, take away our box threat of Derwin being around the line of scrimmage and the nickel. And I think RJ Mickens played well when he had to come in. And of course, Elijah
Yeah,
Bolden's out there often, so he did his thing. So, like you said, hopefully we do get those guys back with this little mini bye, the 10 days off. Derwin would, we don't want to have him miss time.
no,
I will
absolutely
say
not.
if there is a game to miss to get, that 14, 15, 16 days off, Tennessee might be that one. So
Yeah,
maybe that's okay.
no, they definitely that one.
But we don't want to lose Tarheeb for long because that's CB1.
Yep,
And both of those safeties, I think they play so well. And just having Tony back there, I think that vet presence is underrated on this team. And I think that's why we made that move to give away Gilman.
yep,
Um, let's talk about our bets last night though. How we did. I think we
yes, sir.
both hit our locks. We had a bounce back week as well. So
Yep,
Chargers dominated. Can't say we dominated because there's a couple red X's on our ticket, but all in all, I think a pretty good night. If you're gonna count both of mine, since I did the double overs, one of them didn't hit, so I got us at 4 of 7 overall last night, which
hmm
that's over 50%. So that's a good night for us. The lock Chargers money line. Man, I should have put the mortgage on that one because
Yeah, seriously,
I knew that one was coming through.
you're living
Lad
good.
crushed it for you, and he got the touchdown nice and early as well.
Yep,
Um, or not nice and early, but he got the touchdown, and I love that he got the touchdown on a go route.
yeah,
Starting to send him deep could
yep,
unlock some things now that OG can handle more of that middle area, and we know Keenan can play close by the sticks. If we're
yep.
gonna send Lad on those deep routes instead of QJ,
Man,
best of luck to the defense.
seriously, 4.37 speed, sure-handed, super shifty, quick, great route runner. He's going to be real tough to manage if you start allowing him to venture out and do those things. I mean, he did some of it last year, but it just wasn't super consistent. I mean, I can recall numerous big plays where he had a big play against the Saints and he snatched the ball right out of I think it was Lante Taylor's hand.
Yep.
He had a couple big plays against the Patriots, downfield, and he has them and they're timely, but it's just not consistent. And we spoke about it. There's a lot of routes that he did, vertical type routes even throughout the first 7 weeks of this year, but it's just like he wasn't the first read or,
Yeah.
not getting to him on those progressions. Like it's there, but now I feel like it's more of okay, we've turned the corner. Everybody's involved. Everyone's comfortable. Everyone's confident. Let's go back to our guy. Because
Yep.
in the beginning, it did seem like Lad was a bit of an afterthought, but we all know how good Lad is, and we all know how good Herbert is, and we know how good they were together last year.
Yep.
No way could I see for a 17 game season, Lad getting 4 targets, 5 targets, and QJ having big numbers, Keenan big numbers, and Lad's just sitting here at the third wheel. Like it just wasn't going to happen. In
Yeah.
these last couple of weeks, you've seen that transition. So I'm just excited for it because I still think everyone's still going to get involved. But I mean, Lad had 10 targets, no other guy had 5. So
Yeah.
it just goes to show, like, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna get to my guy who I know is that guy. I mean, Keenan is that guy too. Like he's definitely that guy. And OG is looking real good too. But a lot of weapons, a lot of weapons.
Yeah. I don't, man, honestly, I know this is year one of the pod. I hope you're this right again, but I don't know if you'll ever be as right as you've been about OG, bro. Like you were on that early and right away, and he's producing early and looking like the guy that you expected him to be. And we're talking about all along because you've always been super high on OG. So shout out to you for that and just seeing that talent. And, credit to the Chargers for putting him in there. And you can see him and Herbert have an instant connection.
Yeah,
And I think the great offenses always have that threat at tight end. Look at the Chiefs with Kelsey. Look at those Patriots with Gronk. You want to have a threat at tight end because, yeah, we can have the outside weapons, but you can kind of scheme those guys away. When you have a mismatched nightmare at tight end, because these linebackers are too slow for him and these DBs are too little. And you stick a DB on him in the red zone like they did last time, he just ran a easy skinny post and boom, was wide open. Like
too easy,
simple.
too
So,
easy.
um, really love the way that might open up the offense. And if judging by what happened last night, if QJ is the guy that loses targets, um, you know, I'm not sad to see that just based off the fact that the other guys that we have and that are getting those targets are going to be Lad and OG and Keenan. So I think it still puts us in a favorable spot with weapons. And then if, QJ does start getting forgotten again and we just hit him deep or open spots and let his talent take over. But right now it seems like, Lad and OG are going to start carrying a lot of that weight in that passing game. And then Keenan on those third downs. He didn't play a lot last night, but I feel like that's just because it was a Thursday night and with his
Mhm.
age. So, because I think his snap percentage was like 27%. And then, but Harbaugh even said it's still third and Keenan. So
Oh,
he
absolutely.
recognizes,
And then in
just to
game
finish
script
off,
too. Game
yeah,
script
but
too.
and
I mean, come on, we're
game
leading
script.
big, turn it to a run time game. I think there was a couple times we ran the same run play like 3, 4 times, and it worked like every time. So it was like, Keenan, man, it's Thursday, man. You got a couple catches. Take the night off. That's pretty much what it
Yeah,
was.
exactly. But game script was exactly why pretty much I feel like the only reason we had a couple of those red X's because Herbert over pass attempts is
Yeah.
game script related. And then his pass yards, fell about 30 yards short
Yep.
for that over for me. But other than that, man, a productive night from us as well. So if you guys tailed some of those, hope you made some money. Stay tuned. Like we said, we're going to start opening it up, see, get some of that fan best bet out there. Maybe add that to our bolt standard plays as we move forward.
Yeah, no. So like I said, been a really good week. Obviously, we spoke about getting that taste of that loss from the Colts just out of our mouth. We needed that taste just gone because it was bad. It was a bad loss, and it didn't look that bad when you look at the end score. I mean, it was a 2-score game. I mean, that's still pretty bad. But it could have been a lot worse. So love that we were able to come out and do what we did. Like I said, ended up with 5-3, 3-2 at home. Obviously 3-0, within the AFC West. So I think we're sitting pretty good. Obviously, the Broncos are still at the top right now because they're 5-2. Pending what happens this weekend. Um, But and then Chiefs are right there at 4-3, so could be a three-way tie at the top. But obviously, we would have tiebreakers. So who knows what's going to happen? But at the end of the day, we controlled what we can control, and we won the game. So just a lot of things to be excited about. Like I said, number one is being getting healthy. That's got to be the number
Yeah,
one thing that we're working on. And I mean, I know Ben Herbert's getting a lot of slack. Oh man, Ben Herbert was brought in and he paid him all his money to do this. So some injuries sometimes you just can't do anything about. I mean, he said it. He's gonna try to make these guys harder to break. That doesn't mean they're not gonna break. Like
yeah,
injuries happen, and some of them are just freak injuries where it's like took a bad step and now okay, twisted an ankle or sprained knee or it's a weird deal. So, like I said, excited to see what we got going on. Got a nice little stretch of games coming up that we need to capitalize on
for
before we hit
sure.
a real tough stretch. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, Definitely excited to see what we can do these next couple of games.
Absolutely. We stack some of these right here in this middle part, especially with that bye included in there. Get ready for that tough home stretch to finish us off. Before we finish off this post-game show, always got to talk about our supercharger of the week. We had the supercharger uniforms on. So, Justin, who you got for your supercharger this week?
So my supercharger this week, man, has got to be my guy, man. 2 weeks back to back out there, really, really proving that he belongs. It's OG, man. That's my guy, man. Like you said, man,
Yep.
I've been talking about him early and often, talked about him all throughout the preseason. Even when, he wasn't really getting the snaps the first 2 weeks, we looked really good though. So I was like, you know what? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we look good. Don't,
Right.
if it ain't broke, ain't nothing to fix. So, so I got to go with him. Another little tidbit there. Um, I play 3 fantasy football leagues. And I'm silly because I could have had him the week before because tight end is the area that I always punt in my drafts. And I always take late round tight ends because I always try to look for the value. Last year
Yeah,
I caught Brock Bowers in a bunch of leagues, in like the eighth, ninth round, and he was like a league winner for me. Like literally, he was
of
the best
course.
tight end last year, and I got him like eighth, ninth round. Two of my leagues this year, late eighth round, I got Tyler Warren.
Mm,
But there was another league where I waited too long and I had like Hunter Henry and he was serviceable. But so this week, when waivers opened up, I dropped the bag. Every league dropped the bag, and I got him in
worth
every
it.
single league. And I started him in 2 out of 3 leagues. The only reason why I didn't start him in the third league is because I got Tyler Warren and Jake Ferguson, and I got them at my tight end and my flex. So I just got OG kind of chilling. But I mean, he could have been one of those guys, but I just
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, just a little tidbit there. That's my supercharger of the week. He's on all my fantasy teams, so we rocking with him.
Yeah, if you missed out on that waiver wire, because I'm sure he was on the waivers in probably 95% of leagues. Maybe a couple people could have picked him up a few weeks ago when he had that good game. But then he kind of not regressed, but didn't see as many targets, and now he's back. He's all the way there. Like that 5 for 77 and a touchdown, that was all in the first half because we didn't need to throw anymore. So imagine, we need to throw some more. We could see big games from him a lot to finish off this year because, like I talked about, a mismatch at tight end, that's tough to defend. That
Absolutely.
puts a stress on that defense. Um, my supercharger this week, I'm going with Joe Alt. He comes back and the offense looks different. That's a supercharger in my book. Um, with Joe Alt on the field this year, Justin Herbert is at 8 pass yards an attempt, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 107 passer rating, a .24 EPA per dropback. Right now, these numbers without him is where it really gets scary.
Whew.
Right when he's not on the field, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 88 passer rating,
Hmm.
negative .1 EPA per dropback.
Wow.
And that was just with him on the field last night, like we mentioned with Bobby Hart and Foster Sorrell on the right side, and
Exactly.
and and Bozeman's still the center. So,
Yeah.
man, just Joe Alt dominated his position. He just does it again. I think it's just crazy how good he is so young and so early. And this is his first year at left tackle. And it's like he didn't just miss 4 games. He came back in on a Thursday night against a team that blitzes and throws a lot at you, that didn't miss a beat, leads that first running touchdown that Kamani Valdell had. He pushed his guy 5 yards into the end zone. He was just did it all out there, and I think that's a big reason that anchor on that O line is a big plus. Just knowing he's there, and you talked about Herbert having a sigh of relief having him. Man, I think he had a joy having him. You see him always celebrating with
Uh-huh. Their
Joe Alt like
celebrations.
that. I love that little celebration. Those guys. That's like that childhood joy. Coming out on the football field, and I
Hmm.
think they got a real special connection as tackle and quarterback. So, Joe Alt, good to see you back out there. Rest up this weekend, big fella. Can't wait to see you continue to do what you do on the field for us, because you're special. Any final thoughts you want to get off before we get up out of here on this post game?
No, man, like I said, just excited that we were able to do what we did last week. Just 1 week though, got to keep it moving. I think we've already had our little trap games. We need to stay away from those. I mean, if there's games that we are supposed to win, we need to make sure that we win those games because the schedule does not get easier; it gets harder. So we need to make sure that we're like Harbaugh said, man, we're just ready to go. Make sure our guys are getting healthier each and every week. Um, and I just hope that I mean, I don't I have no concern over Mentor and his game plan. I know that we had some injuries and we're banged up and we look kind of bad, but um, I just hope that our coordinators just stay as sharp as they can. Because I do think that there was some reflecting that was done in these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Roman, Mentor, and I think that they came out, ready to go. Because I liked our game plan on both sides of the ball. So hopefully that stays that way.
Hey man, I'm right there with you. 37-10. What a Thursday night football game. What a way to go into the weekend. I usually finish off with that bolt up. That's usually our sign out. But after going into a weekend with a 37-10 victory, I'm gonna hit that Harbaugh, who's got it better than us.
Nobody.
Yes, sir. Bolt up, man. See y'all next week.